morning and welcome to Finlandia Fridays. This is the second episode of Finlandia Fridays. I am Michael Babcock. I am your host for this weekly web and audio series. We're happy to have you joining us this morning. My special guest today is Soren Schmidt, the campus pastor here at Finlandia University. Soren, how are you doing this morning?
Doing well. Thanks for inviting me.
We're glad to have you here today. And today we're going to talk a lot about campus ministry, which is something that's been a part of the identity of Finlandia University since it was founded in 1896. It's something that we're proud of. It's something that we know our students are fairly active with and participating in. Soren, talk a little bit about what campus ministry at Finlandia University means to you.
It means reaching out to the students and the faculty, all the Finlandia community actually, and working with the community that surrounds us, letting them know that we are walking with them. We are not there to promote an agenda with them, but making sure that it helps them become more of a whole person, understand themselves in their own faith walk. So we have campus ministry that is comprised of many different faiths, Christian and otherwise, and we all sit at the same table.
And one thing that I think is important for a lot of people to realize is that we don't push this on anybody. This isn't something that you're not forced to go to the chapel. If you're not comfortable with campus ministry, it's not something that's pushed on you here. Is that correct?
Right, and I'm glad it's not set up that way. I'm glad it has the freedom to allow the student to express themselves as they would express themselves, to it be inviting, but not to make it a requirement. Because then it's more of a get-to rather than a have-to thing.
But at the same time, what I've experienced, especially, I've known Soren for probably 15 years now. I used to go to Fortune Lake Lutheran Camp where Soren worked. So that was where I first met him. He was when I took this job at Finlandia, actually, I was really excited to work with you. This was something I was really looking forward to. And what I've noticed about the students here that have interacted with you quite a bit is they have an awesome experience. Those students that are involved with campus ministry seem to have a lot of fun. Would that be something you'd say is fair?
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds like campus ministry sometimes up front, when you hear the word ministry, you think church, you think sitting down, you think listening to somebody talk all the time. But this ministry is an active ministry. It's letting people be active in their faith, expressing themselves in many different ways. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a lot of informal things too. You know, I take a walk around campus quite a bit, and I get to the basement of the Chapel of St. Matthew right in the middle of campus. There's students down there just hanging out. They have there's a kitchen space down there. There's space to do homework, and it seems like students really just enjoy that space.
They utilize that space really well. Like you said, there's a lounge area. Some students just go down to take a nap. Others do their homework to find a quiet place. I have students that come down to utilize the pianos or to play some music or express themselves in other ways. Renee has a yoga class that's led there. We have other classes and groups that meet there. We also have the table, which is a student needs pantry, which is why we have some of the kitchen area we do and the needs pantry, so that our students that are in need can have a safe place to come to fulfill some of that. So we have donations from students, from faculty, from community members that come in. They can utilize the food there. We also have a time for them to meet called the Soup and Meat, which kind of combines what the table is as a needs pantry and what we are as a worshiping area. So we'll sit down for a meal that's comprised of food that has been donated, and then following that we'll have a Holden evening prayer upstairs.
I've heard you talk about this Holden evening prayer before. What does that mean? What can people expect at that?
Holden evening prayer is a worship that was written by Marty Holden, and it's a candlelight evening worship, and in that time it's basically a half an hour, all candlelit. It's all music, and it's just a very relaxing way to end the day. Yeah.
Awesome. And some of the things you mentioned there are a little bit more of the serious side of campus ministry. One of the things that I know as an employee here is that going in and talking to you can be an opportunity to have a very private moment and a conversation that can be held confidential.
Yeah, our individual ministry at Finlandia is very important. To let everybody know that my office is 100% confidential, so any of the employees, any of the students can come in to share in discussion, whatever that discussion might be. It might be something simple about being frustrated from a test. It might be something that's going on at home, but they can come into my office to know that that's a safe place to discuss things, and that happens rather often.
Awesome. Again, this is Finlandia Fridays, a weekly series we have here at Finlandia University. We're here talking with Soren Schmidt, the campus pastor. One of the events you have going on this upcoming weekend is Sunday night open mic and worship service. What kind of thing? Why would somebody want to go to that? What's that been like so far?
It's an exciting way to get students back into a sort of a Sunday worshiping routine and to have some fun with it as well. So we have it upstairs. It is a worship, but it is in a fun setting, so we have it be open mic. So we have communion that is within there. We have prayers that are included. I will play some music, but it's also time for the students to come express themselves as well. And it doesn't have to be religious music or religious poetry, just a way that they express themselves, and we have a lot of uptake on that. And we have a really good time. It's typically a 45-minute long minimum, but a lot of the students want to stay longer because we're having a good time together.
And that's one of the best parts about a campus ministry program. It's a great opportunity to meet with your students in a more informal atmosphere and to just kind of grow with each other, which I think is something that I can't state enough. If you haven't had a chance to get to one of these campus ministry events, I'd highly suggest going. It's a great opportunity to get to know yourself better, to get to know your classmates better. And talking actually a step back or a few steps back here, I'd love to hear about your original experiences with Finlandia University. What brought you here originally? Because I understand you're an alumni, actually.
I am. I went to Swimmy College in 92 to 94, so I was here for 2 years. I have a double associates from there in fine arts and physical education, so I worked a lot with that. I was part of the volleyball team and the bowling team and all those things, but we also had our own expressions, and part of coming back is sort of thanking the community that helped bring me up. My mother was an alumni here as well, so I enjoyed getting back to the area and working with students because of that experience that I had.
Excellent. So that means your daughters then, hopefully we'll get them here too. Get a third generation?
Olive and my son Jude, we will see. Yeah.
That's fun stuff. What were some of your favorite experiences being a student here?
Well, of course, the classes. The classes, right? Aside from the classes, we had a small group. I think there were about 210 students on site, but we had a lot of activities going on: Winterfest, Springfest. So we would participate in those activities. I was also a lifeguard, and I taught swim lessons and just basically being around in the community because there's so many different things, so many different options.
It's interesting that 210, it was a very intimate campus then. Now we've grown all the way to about 500 students every year. It's still a very intimate campus though. The classes are very small. Something students seem to enjoy.
Absolutely, and I think that's an important part of the ministry and what we do here is we're always walking along with the student, allowing them to express themselves. Like in faith, the students during college time are coming from a family faith, but then they come to college and it's more individual, so they're coming into themselves, they're coming into their own understanding, and they're growing from that. So we just want to help them in that growth, help them express who they are.
Excellent. Well, we're going to wrap up here. I want to thank Soren Schmidt for joining us here in Finlandia Fridays. This is the second episode. And remind you, we'll be back every week with talking about the stories here at Finlandia, telling a different story, talking to different people. And also I want to do a couple of quick shout-outs here. First one, Kenny Hansen. He teaches our ceramics courses down in the International School of Art and Design. He provided me with this mug. It's very nice. And then I want to give a shout-out to our Northwind Books for providing this clock. It'll be up in our background here later this week. And I want to invite anybody else that has something that they might want to donate to our set to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to add it to our set. Thanks again, Soren, for being our guest today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we will see you next Friday.